Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the classification of proteins, right? So yesterday we could know about the protein, what are the proteins, how they are configuration and structures, right, and the nature. So today we are going to discuss about the different types of protein, how many way we can classify them, and which protein playing as a what kind of role. So when we are talking about the classification, right, since these proteins are obtaining from the different source, from the animals, from the fruits, from the uh, dairy products, from the different types of nuts, broccoli, eggs, you can see here in the picture, like red meat and many more, right? So where what kind of protein they are playing, we can see into the classification. Basically these are classified based on their solubility and compositions and function, either then shape and size, right? So the different mode according to their property, their nature, where it is soluble, what are the composition in that, what kind of function or what kind of role they are playing, what is the shape and what is the size, right? So first one, classification based on solubility and composition. According to this classification, proteins are divided into three main group, right? The simple protein, conjugated protein, and derived protein, right? So as per their configuration, you can see here how the composition, simple means composition will be only one, right? Only one, there is no conjugated and derived. So according to this category, we can classify. When we are talking about the simple proteins, so there are a lot of examples here we can see into the slide, like simple proteins yield on hydrolysis only amino acid. Okay. The proteins are further classified based on their solubility, different solvent as per their heat and coagulability. Their heat coagulability. For example, albumin, simple proteins, globulins, this is a simple protein, prolamins, then glutalins, histones, protamines, and also albuminoids. These are the example of simple proteins. So when we talk about albumins, what are albumins? All of you know albumins, globulins, eggs, right? In egg we are getting this kind of protein. So albumins are readily soluble in water, dilute acids and alkalis, coagulated by heat. Seed proteins contains albumin in lesser quantities. Okay, albumins may be precipitated out from solution using high salt concentration. This process is called a salting out, right? When we are, that's what the osmosis, you are already, you might be knowing, right? So they are deficient in glycerin, serum albumin, and valbumin, that is egg white, are the example of albumin protein, which is simple protein. Coming to the globulins, globulins are insoluble or springly soluble in water, but their solubility is greatly increased by the addition of natural salts. For example, sodium chloride, right? If you add this one, their solubility will increase. These proteins are coagulated by heat. This is the property. It can be coagulated by heat. They are deficient in methionine, right? Serum globulins, fibrinogen, myosin of muscle, and globulins of pulses are the example of globulin protein. Prolamins. Prolamins are insoluble in water but soluble in 70 to 80% of aqueous alcohol. This is the solubility parameter of prolamins. Upon hydrolysis, they yield much proline and amide nitrogen. Hence, the name is prolamine, right? They are deficient in lysine and gliadin of wheat and G of corn. These are the example of prolamine type of protein, which is the simple protein. Then histones. Histones are the small and stable basic proteins. They contain fairly large amount of basic amino acid. Histidine, that's what yesterday I told you, right? Histidine is the important protein for the children. They are soluble in water but insoluble in ammonium hydroxide. They are not readily coagulated by heat. In previous protein, we could see that they are coagulated by heat. They occur in globin of hemoglobin and nucleoproteins. Then protamines, another protein, simple protein. Protamines are the simplest of the proteins. They are soluble in water and are not coagulated by heat. Again, here it is not coagulated by heat. They are basic in nature due to the presence of large quantity of arginine. So that's what they are, basic in nature. Protamines are found in associated association with the nucleic acid in the serum cells of certain fish. Then tyrosine and tryptophan are usually absent in protamines. Albuminoids, this is also simple protein. These are characterized by great stability and insolubility in water and salt solutions. These are called albuminoids because they are essentially similar to albumin and globulins. They are highly resistant to proteolytic enzymes. They are fibrous in nature and form most of the supporting structures of animals. They occur as a chief constituents of exoskeleton structures such as hair, horn, and nails. Second mode of classification, that is in this sorry based on this coagulated and compound protein, right? The first one was the simple protein, second one was the is the coagulated or compound protein. These are simple proteins combined with some non-protein substances known as prosthetic groups, right? Simple protein only, but they will be combined with the non-protein substances. That's what these are, compound. The nature of non-protein and prosthetic groups is the basis for the subclassification of conjugated protein. So these are the example: nucleoproteins, mucoproteins, chromoproteins, lipoproteins, then metalloproteins and phosphoproteins. So coming to the nucleoproteins, nucleoproteins are simple basic proteins, that is protamines or histones, in salt combination with nucleic acids such as prosthetic group. They are important constituents of nuclei and chromatin. Okay, that's what these are, nucleoproteins. Then mucoproteins, these are the proteins composed of simple proteins in combination with the carbohydrates like mucopolysaccharides, which includes the hyaluronic acid and chondroitin sulfates. On hydrolysis, mucopolysaccharides yield more than 4% of amino sugars, hexosamine, and uronic acid. For example, humocoid form egg white. Egg white portion, whatever the portion will be there. No, when you are making omelette or you are breaking the egg white portion, there these kinds of uronic acid will be there. Soluble mucoproteins are neither readily denaturated by heat nor easily precipitated by common protein precipitants, like different precipitants will be there, no, which will participate in precipitation process. So like trichloroacetic acid and picric acid, right? So in this, with this, they are not easily precipitated. Okay, that is the property of mucoproteins. Coming to the chromoproteins, these are proteins containing colored prosthetic groups. For example, hemoglobin, flavoproteins, and cytochrome. Lipoproteins, these are proteins conjugated with lipids such as neutral fat, phospholipids, and cholesterol. Then metalloproteins, these are the metal binding protein. Metallo, that's what metal word it is attached as a suffix, right? A globulin termed transferrin is capable of combining with iron, copper, and zinc. That's what these are, metal binding proteins. These proteins constitutes 3% of total plasma protein. See, 3% of total plasma protein, this protein will be there, metalloprotein. That's what we need, some kinds of metal things also in our system. Another example of this is the ceruloplasmin, which contain copper, right? Then compound protein is the phosphoproteins. These are the proteins containing phosphoric acid. As the name indicate, phosphoric acid is linked to the hydroxyl group of certain amino acids like serine in the protein. Example, casein in milk, right? So in milk there will be the casein, that is the nothing but phosphoprotein. Derived proteins, the third one, second, first simple, second compound, third one derived. These are the protein derived by the partial or complete hydrolysis from a simple or conjugated proteins by the action of acids, alkalis, or enzymes. So let's take the example. These derived proteins, they are two types of primary derived and secondary derived. Primary derived, these proteins derived by the formed by processes causing only slight changes in the protein molecule and its a property. That's what primary, slight changes. Okay, there are little or no hydrolytic cleavage of peptide bond. Examples are proteins, metaproteins, and coagulated proteins. Second one is the secondary derived. So what is secondary derived and how it is different from primary? These proteins are formed in the progressive hydrolytic cleavage of the peptide bond of protein molecules, right? Whatever the peptide bond they will be attached, no, in that progressive hydrolytic cleavage will be there. That's what they are roughly grouped into the proteoses, then peptones and peptides according to the average molecular weight. Since we know that protein is the high molecular weight, so like that. Okay. Then next, B, classification of proteins based on function. This is the second mode of classification, where we are looking the function or role of the protein into their native. Protein are classified based on the functions are catalytic protein, enzymes with enzymes, right? Regulatory proteins with hormones, protective proteins with antibodies, storage protein, transport, toxic, structural, then contractile, secretory, exotic. So these are the different types where they are performing their function into their native. So when we talk about the catalytic proteins, enzymes, right? The most striking characteristic feature of this protein is their ability to function within the living cells as a biocatalyst. The function within the living cells as a, that's what catalytic. Cat, that's what catalytic. It is biocatalyzed. It is initiating or encouraging the enzymatic reactions for the enzymes. That's what enzyme it has attached. These biocatalysts are called as enzymes. Enzymes represent the largest class, right? Nearly 2000 different kinds of enzymes are known, each catalyzing a different kind of reaction. They enhance the reactions rate a million fold, right? So the next one is the regulatory proteins or hormones. These are polypeptides and small proteins found in the relatively lower concentrations in animal kingdom, but play highly important regulatory role in maintaining order in the complex metabolic reactions. Example are the growth hormone and insulin, and all these are the example of regulatory proteins because they are hormones. That's what. Protective protein, protective as the name, antibody. What is the role of antibody? They will protect from the pathogens, right? Antigen antibody reaction will take place in immunogenic response, right? That's what we are happening, it is happening with the different types of COVID vaccine. So protective protein, these proteins have protective defense function. That's what name itself is protective. These proteins combine with the foreign protein or foreign body or antigen and the other substances and fight against certain disease. Example, immunoglobulins. All of you know immunoglobulins. What is the? This is the playing as a antibodies. These proteins are produced in the spleen and the lymphatic cells in response to the foreign substance called antigen. The newly formed proteins, it is called antibody, which specifically combines with the antigen, which triggered its synthesis thereby and prevent the development of disease. That's what immunogenic response that is known as. Then fibrin present into the blood is also the protective protein. So whatever the protein which will act into the defense mechanism, they are called a protective proteins. Storage protein, as the name indicates, storage, right? It is the major class of proteins which has the function of storing amino acids as nutrients and as building blocks for the growing embryo, right? Storage proteins are source of essential amino acids which cannot be synthesized by the human beings. Remember, right? This protein cannot be synthesized by the human being. It has to be taken from the external source. The major storage protein in pulses is globulins and prolamins in cereals. Different cereals will be there. From there we can get. In rice, the major storage protein is glutenins, albumin of egg, and casein of milk are also the storage protein. Example: transport protein. Transport, right? Here, some proteins are capable of binding and transporting a specific type of molecules through the blood. That's what they are known as transport protein. They will be participating in transportation. Hemoglobin is the conjugated protein composed of the colorless basic protein. So the globin and the fibroprotoporphyrin or heme, these are the things. It has the capacity to bind with oxygen. Hemoglobin has the capacity to bind with oxygen and transport through blood to various tissues or various cells. That's what they are participating into the, because oxygen is carrying, no, whenever we are taking breath it will go into the blood and from heart it will be mixed into the blood and it will go each and every corner of the body. So these proteins, they will bind with the oxygen and they can travel. Myoglobin, a related protein, transports oxygen in muscle. Lipid binds to serum protein like albumin and the transported as a lipoproteins in the blood. So these are the role of transport proteins. Toxic proteins, name indicate toxic. Some of the protein are the toxic in nature, like ricin present into the castor bean is extremely in last unit only we completed the lipid containing product. That in castor bean we could see the resinous, right? So in resin will be there. That is the extremely toxic to higher animal in very small amount also. Okay, so enzyme inhibitor such as trypsin inhibitor bind to the digestive enzyme and prevent the availability of this protein to the body for metabolism, and the toxic will not be take place. Then lectin, a toxic protein present in legumes, that is the agglutinates red blood cell. So the bacterial toxins cause cholera, which is a protein. Snake venom is the protein in nature. That's what, right? Structural protein, as the name indicates, structural, right? These proteins serves as a structural material or an important components of extracellular fluid. Example of structural proteins are myosin of muscles, then keratin of skin, and the hair and the collagen of connective tissue. Since they are participating into the structure, anatomical or morphological structure of the body, that's what they are known as a structural protein. Carbohydrates, fats, minerals, and other cellular components are organized around such structural proteins that form the molecular framework of living material. It may be the microbial cell, it may be the plant cell, it may be the any cells. Third mode of classification, that is the classification based on size and shape. So based on the size and shape, the protein are also subdivided into globular and fibrous proteins. So when we talk about the globular proteins, these are mostly water soluble and fragile in nature. Example: enzymes, hormones, and antibodies. These are the globular protein. When we talk about the fibrous protein, these are the tough and water insoluble. Since it is fibrous, they are used to build a variety of materials that support and protect a specific tissue. Example: skin, hair, then fingernails, and keratin. So these are the fibrous protein, right? So here we could see the classification of protein based on their function, based on their size, shape, and based on solubility, based on their different uh, property, right? So in this many way we can classify the proteins, and we can name the protein. So that's what today we could able to know about the classification of protein into the different way.